This presentation is made possible by these amazing individuals and organizations. Whether it was through Patreon, Super Chats, Super Stickers, or by watching, liking, and commenting, I really appreciate each and every one of you.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the show. I'm Retro Nerd Girl, broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station. And today we're going to be talking about Ahsoka. There isn't much in the news. I have maybe one or two topics to talk about, so it might be a shorter show. But I do have quite the bit to talk about with Ahsoka. And just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Yes. Okay. Keith E says that he can hear me. Thank you so much, Keith E, for letting me know that you can hear me. So I'm going to begin. First, let's see what is happening in the comment section. I see a lot of chatter about Star Wars in the chat in general. So yeah, let's dive right in. First up, we have Brogu who says, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Retro Nerd Girl. Hope you guys are doing well today. Yes, we are doing really. I'm doing well today. Just really busy. Crazy stuff is happening. Just wanted to say a quick apology to anyone who on Sunday night came by for a watch party that didn't happen. I am so sorry because I hit the wrong button, and I also hit the wrong button for scheduling this show as well. So, yeah, Sunday I was out of it, and I'm glad that I didn't do too much damage. But I am really, really sorry for you guys who came for the show, and there was no watch party. So many apologies there. But now that I've gotten that out of the way, yeah, I seem to be finding little mistakes that I've made along the way. I am only proving one thing: I am not a robot. I'm human. Yay! So where there are humans, there may be some mistakes, and I do. Make quite a few on occasion. And Unicorn Rampant Studio is here. Says good morning, Brogu, and good morning, RNG. So far, it's really beautiful. It's a really beautiful day, which is great because I have a lot of walking to do. Oh wow, that is so cool. I miss I miss walking a lot. I just walk around in my home, but I really miss taking long walks. It's just not the proper place to do it where I live without getting weird looks. But I do miss walking around in a nice city. And Outcast Creative says, I'm conflicted over this episode. Oh yes. So Outcast Creative, he did a stream earlier this morning, like an hour ago, about this very same topic. He gave his gut reactions. I'm gonna probably go into this a lot more deeper, but he is of course sharing his opinions here. It says, I'm conflicted over this episode. The range of emotion that I wanted to see Ahsoka show annoyingly was given to young Ahsoka. However, this did to some extent set up her emotional distance. I agree 100% about that. And I think we did get to see a little bit more of that after she got out of the situation. And she seemed to be in a brighter mood or have sort of like I want to say lighter tone, a very playful tone as well. So um, we'll see what next episode brings to the table. We'll see. And Outcast says she now has been she now has between student and teacher. So it did to some degree justify Ahsoka's emotional distance in the earlier episodes. A little. For me, it didn't quite do that, but it yeah, I'll dive right into it when I get to but I see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She's there is a conflict within her, and I'm glad they were able to show something because at the point where they weren't showing anything, and that was frustrating. Unicorn Rampant Studio says, I died when Qui-Gon Jinn died. So, it's been over for me for quite some time. Oh, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Um, it is so for me, it was when Darth Maul was killed. I was like, oh, why'd you kill this incredible character? Um, and it's been sort of like trying. I mean, to be honest with you, it just it I don't know. It's Star Wars is so complex. I have a very intense love for Star Wars, and also an apathy for it as well. So I see where you're coming from. Outcast Creative says, "Damn, it's a long time, Unicorn." Yes, and Unicorn Rampant Studio says, "I'm not a hater of Star Wars. Just Phantom Menace failed by Jar Jar and killing the best character." Yeah, yeah. Like I said, for me, the best character was Darth Maul, and bringing him back in the way they did, it was just like a slap in the face. Like I feel the same way about Boba Fett as well. Like they killed that character. He was dead, and they brought him back. And it's like, no, you killed him. You actually killed the character. So bringing him back is not going to fix your horrible writing mistakes. So that's how I feel about that. But that's pretty cutthroat. But otherwise, I'm still willing to watch their productions. Unicorn Rampant Studio says it didn't need to be everything for me, but it was unacceptable what we got. I hear you. And Unicorn says, although it's recently come to my attention that other people have been born and now enjoy it for many, many reasons, which is pretty good legacy. Yeah, yeah. And that's really great. I'm like, wow, a lot of people are finding something really interesting, especially with the Clone Wars and Rebel shows. And that's like a whole nother generation that grew up with a different type of Star Wars and in an animated form, no less, and enjoyed it. I mean, I think Star Wars might have an answer right there in the process of like, hey, instead of all these live action things, maybe you should, spend some time in the animated world because then you can get away with almost anything, right? There's a lot you can get away with animation. And Unicorn says they essentially turned Obi-Wan into Anakin's babysitter. There's really no training that we can see other than the force combat. Yes, there was no training. There was no training except for and in Obi-Wan, the TV series Obi-Wan, they did show a training session, but that training session was like, where was this in the original in the movies? That would have been great. They just skipped over that part. Um, or it was in between episodes. Brogu says, I'm an original trilogy guy myself. I can appreciate some things in the sequels, but Star Wars has continued to go down for me since the original. Yeah. And I think they like even in the last movie of the trilogy, making Luke and Leia's brother and sister was like, it's like frustrating to me. Like you had something there. Why'd you mess it up with extra garbage? And the corn student says Star Wars brings you in, gets you excited about almost every character. Empire Strikes Back delivers something you could never have imagined. Having already seen Star Wars, even it was so incredible. Yeah, that's the best. I think that was the height of it for me was Empire Strikes Back. What they were able to do and take the characters and just like twist the whole world on its head was just beautiful. Um, and I love the idea of Leia also having the Force, but it could be for some other reason. She could just be another person with the Force. It didn't have to be his sister. It's just it was already enough. Have Darth Vader be yeah. I mean, we're talking about deep roots of issues that are in the franchise, but I digress. I think we're beating a dead horse. I mean, and it's really dead. Brugu says, and I don't get me started on the sequels. What a waste. Yeah, that's a travesty. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, when we get Ewoks and Jar Jar, the the best character change majority storylines, many things never picked up again by the creators. Yeah. Um, Pretty much, right? And Unicorn said, so it's good that there's other people that enjoy it. Yeah. And notice they don't typically enjoy that in particular. Like nobody's asking for Jar Jar, nobody's asking for Ewoks. Grogu says, and nobody is asking for those one of those little pogs that they introduce in the sequels. No, nobody's asking for pogs. And Grogu says, you see what you just said, unicorn about Jar Jar, Ewoks, etc. That's why I'm an original trilogy guy. Yeah, yeah. And Keith E says, hello, all those past, present, and future. Yes, hey, Keith E. And Unicorn Rampant Studio, thank you so much. Wonderful. Okay, let me see. What are these emojis? Okay, so there's a cow, I think, a bell, and there's a monkey. And he didn't. He did. Does that mean that you didn't get a notification bell? And then there's a rocket and a bucket of popcorn, I think. An astronaut, that would be me. And puppies and hearts. Oh, yay! I think I got everything. And because he is saying hi to everybody. Yes. And let's see. Um, and Unicorn Rampant City says, what I've done is get all of those little tedious things on my mind out of the way so you guys can stay on topic. Oh, great. And Roger says, I just hated the fact that they put Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. They should have put Wookiees. Ooh, yes, I think that was their plan instead of Ewoks. In that role, but what do I know? Yeah, they did. I think that was their plan originally, but they wanted to attract children, which they did. Unicorn Rampant City says that's was always what we were thinking, and it was supposed to be Wookiee homeworld. Yeah, that would have made more sense, and it would have tied us into the entire storyline of Chewbacca. That would have been great. We could learn more about Chewbacca, but nope. Yeah. We got the Christmas special for that. Unicorn Rampant City says we definitely have the internet. At that point, people were talking about it. Yeah. And this is me telling everybody I'm on my way. Strapping in express elevator to double hockey sticks going down. And Rogu says, somebody wake up Hicks. Oh man, never gets old. And Keith E says, when are we when are used to fly all the time when we used to fly all the time, people to look out of windows and say, look at the fluffy clouds. All I did was tighten up my seatbelt and get ready to hang on. Oh, that's me in a plane. I'm very similar to. I'm very nervous on a plane. And Unicorn says the same thing. Me too, Keith. I would just cry and hope angels didn't drop the airplane. And Kingdom of Nerds is here. Hi, how are you? Says hello, everyone. And Keith E says, I'm at 750,000 fluid miles at this point, I believe. And Brogu says they should have made Star Wars sequels right after the trilogy so that Luke, Han, and Leia was still young enough to do movies, do the prequels later. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Now that should have been the plan, but I think when you get sick of something, you want to change it, and I think and just a hunch is not doesn't mean that it's true. It's true, but I think George Lucas was getting tired of telling the same story, and so he was like, okay, let's go from a different angle this time, just to spice things up. I can change things around. I can make it not look like Star Wars. I can introduce new concepts, and You can use computers to do everything. And Unicorn says, Roger that. Yes, you guys can hear me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, William Blake Hall is here. Hello, all. Just got out of an appointment. So good to see you. And Unicorn references that RNG is such an advanced AI that she programs random mistakes so it look like she's human. Uh-oh, I'm busted. And Keithy says he's thinking the same thing. Henry says, yes, I didn't even say Darth Maul RNG because of the fact that they brought him back at later just destroyed my heart because he absolutely is the most untapped, interesting villain ever. Yeah, and they had their opportunity. To me, I'm like, talk to the hand. That's an old one, right? I haven't heard that since the 90s. Talk to the hand. I don't want to hear anything about Darth Maul because you killed him. I saw him die. You cut him in half and you killed him. Same thing with Palpatine. I saw Palpatine explode. You can't get like you can't come back from that. You're dead. And so that is why I'm super, super now there is a sort of kind of thing that they do here with the character, which is intentional, which I'm okay with. Like I'm actually okay with, what they did in this story about kind of resurrecting a character. And I'll explain it. But yeah, now, when you show me a character explode and fall down a shaft, or is cut in like literally cut in half and then is falling down a well. Like I don't think that they're alive. I mean, if that's the case, then Han Solo was still alive, right? He, he's still alive out there. Yeah. It was too much. I hate to harp on that, but yeah. William Blake Hall says, truth to tell, I've never felt any deep attachments to Star Wars. Once in a while, it jolts me awake, but that's about it. And let's see. And Kate A says, I'm 100% Star Trek original series. Sorry. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. That was some good stuff. That was some good stuff. And William Blake Hall says he's a Trekker too, from its debut in 1966. Yeah. And I'm actually thinking about going back and doing a special series on the original Star Trek. I'm trying to think how I'm going to do it because I did get I did want to do a watch party for gargoyles, and that's an animated TV show. But I also want to do specifically Star Trek. So I don't know how I will do it. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. We're testing the waters on different things. And Roga says the way I feel about Star Wars is the way Al Pacino's character felt about the Godfather movie. Just when I get out, they pull me back in again. And Volcano says, Volcano is here. Hello, Volcano. Says, hey guys, soon be shooting a battle report in the evening with my digital camera. Oh, that sounds cool. And let's see. And Broga says, I have to quit cold turkey. And William Blake Hall says, yes, that can be true of a lot of things in life. And the Outcast says, good to see you looking so full of vitality. Must be the good side of the force. Overall, this episode is about 6.5 out of 10 for me. I actually really like this episode a lot. It's like the best episode that they've had so far. Yeah. The Gourd King says, Luke Skywalker talked to the hand. Darth Vader cuts off his hand. Oh, ouch. Good to see you, Gord King. Great to see you, actually. Yes. And everyone's saying hi. And Volcano says, reviving dead characters is proof of being not creative. Yes. Yes. They think that they're being creative. Oh, no. The character was in the belly of the Sarlacc pit and blah, 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 blah. No. Write a good character. Make them survive, but do it intentionally. Do it intentionally. Don't kill off a character. Oh, well, you know what? This character, everybody really liked that character, so now let's bring him back. Oh, well, I've got a creative way of bringing him back. Like, no. He's dead. He was dead. He was dead. I saw Palpatine explode. Okay? You can't come back from exploding. Just like you just can't. Like, come on. Can we at least have some rules in this world? This make believe world. I know it's make believe. Well, let's have some rules, okay? Because if that's the case, then no character is dead. None of them. They're not. None of them are dead because you've just brought back people who exploded. Just saying. Brogu says, if you let Hollywood have its say, there will be no retro nerd girls image, and they will have retro nerd girls image can create their own streams. Retro, please don't sell your image. It's not worth it. I'm trying. Okay, the contract is right here. I was just about to sign it, but I guess not. I'm not going to sign it. I won't. No, I don't think anybody should be signing away their image for any reasons. I don't think so. But the small print, and I'm sure they will back people into a corner and say, "Oh, well, you have to if you want this role. Means it'll do so much for your career." And you're like, "Okay." There's even been YouTubers that have basically sold their names. There's one girl, I forgot her name, but she is an interior designer. And so she was doing a lot of stuff on like Instagram and got with a company, said, "Hey, look, we'll take your brand and we'll purchase your name and we'll do all the stuff for for your brand and we'll pay you a certain amount of money." And well, she wanted out and she got out of the contract, but then they were like, "Okay, well, now we own your Instagram that you built up, a certain amount of people on that Instagram, and now you cannot use your own like the name that was given to you at birth. You cannot use that name in business in this capacity. Like she has to go into a completely different field if she wants to use her name. It's awful. It's awful." And people buy into these little things because it is they're offered more money than they've ever seen before in their lives. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'll be a millionaire if I give my name off to this company," but not realizing that they're signing their lives away. They're signing away they're signing it, making a deal with the devil, if you will, which is really quite awful. So yeah, I think I'm done with that rant. El Necron is here. Hello. He says, Maul's arc was great, though, but surviving being sliced in half was a stretch. It was a stretch. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, he's dead. But yeah, there's a whole storyline between this other, him after he survived. And I think it's very interesting. I think it's very interesting, but I begrudge it. It's just Keith E says Siri says hello to the unpronounceable person. Ah, that's right. El Necrum. Oh man. Okay, Unicorn member says never saw gargoyles. Always heard good stuff. Yeah, I heard that it's amazing. I do remember seeing like one or two episodes and it was really good. but it's just timing and everything, and I'm trying to figure out like how to do it, and it's really tough. William Blake Hall, if you ever do an animated gargoyle series, you could throw in the old TV movie of the same name. Ooh, I like that. Um, okay, you guys are giving me ideas. Keep creating new characters. Yes, yes. Thank you, William Blake Hall. I hope they will. That's what we kind of like with the fact with Ahsoka is kind of a. I mean, it's the character's been around before, but for a long time, but she's kind of a new character for a lot of other people. So yeah, and she's not terribly bad, but this show really started off on the wrong foot, to be very honest with you. But Volcano says, I read the Boba Fett trilogy. It starts with the Sarlacc incident. It turned out that Boba Fett is a truly dull character and not a not a fierce fighter. His favorite phrase in any encounter is "Let's talk business." Well, see, I wish it was like "Let's talk business," but he has his gun like cocked and ready. It's like "Let's talk business." Like that's like interesting, but. Yeah, they made him they didn't enhance the character. We knew he could have been incredible. And William Blake Hall says, "What profit a man if he gain the whole world but lose his soul?" Ooh, poignant words, poignant words. Yes, poignant words. Um, and Keith E says, "I think Kramer did that on Seinfeld with his stories." Oh, really? Yes, yes, Olmec. I'll never get over Siri's total fail at pronouncing El Necron's name. But God, like I said, God bless her. She does good work on the most part. And William Blake Hall, we could create a reference to The Shining by calling him El Neco Red Rum. And Keith E says, but that would be murdering his name. Yes, that would be. Let's see. Okay, so I've gotten down to the bottom of the comments, guys. Um, except for one more. William Blakeham says, now, Danny Torrance was innocent. Yes, he was. He was. All right. Finally, I am gonna get to talk about Ahsoka. It's 32 minutes in. Sorry about that, guys. My reading was very slow, but you guys had a lot to say, and I wanted to see it. I wanted to see what you had to say. Um, all right. So, Ahsoka, episode 5. On the most part, guys, I really didn't have a whole lot of things in here that I didn't like about this episode. In fact, it's really slim pickings for me as far as like picking things apart. Keithy says, just cross your arms. Yes. And I'll talk about that too. So, okay, last time we saw the Ahsoka show, she was in this place. We thought it was the world between worlds, and they didn't ever explain that. And maybe it is that's where she is, and a lot of people are saying that's where she is. But it really feels more like a place where it's in her mind. She's whether it's imagined or she's feeling this is something that's going on in her head because um, in the real world where everything is else is happening, it she's experiencing this by herself. So I feel like either this is happening in her head or in this world between worlds, but this is not a construct of which anything real is real. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like Barbie. The real world isn't real. It's not real. So this is all sort of her mind, or maybe it really is. This isn't really Anakin. This is her construct of Anakin, giving her wise words and basically he says that he's there to finish her training. And she's like, "What? I don't need any training." And he's like, "Hey, look, you're never too old for training." And this may be the living force. That some people are calling it the living force, talking to her through her visions of Anakin. And they go through a full spectrum of what I would say one of the most creative and beautiful things I've actually seen them do on this show. Because we needed this context of the insight of what is going on in Ahsoka's mind. And for they've been listening. Finally, they give it to us. Okay. So I think that that was something that really needed to happen here because it was just too we didn't get any of that. We didn't get any of that for 4 episodes. And we had to wait till the 5th episode to finally find out what's going on in Ahsoka's mind, and that is a terrible thing, but also finally, right? I'm like, okay, at least they did it. Okay, um, so they go back in time uh, to when Ahsoka was young, and Ahsoka is being played by um, Ariana Greenblatt. And Ariana Greenblatt was played, um, uh, she was in Barbie. She was the annoying little teenager in Barbie. And she played, oh gosh, I forgot her name. Can somebody remember this green girl's name? It's been so long. She played a young when she was really really young. She played a young version of the name of the character. Somebody knows this name of this character. Gamora from sorry, Gamora is her name from Guardians of the Galaxy. So it was kind of she's really been working a lot, and she was excellent. She studied Rosario Dawson's movements. She also studied the um, Clone Wars, and they really did a great job trying to match that look. And uh, uh, the top here on your right is of course the animated version of I believe this is the Clone Wars, and then on the bottom is her as a in the live action that we saw. Very good. They matched things up really well. Even Anakin with his hands being crossed, the same garb and everything. They did a great job of matching the two, and I thought her acting was uh, incredible. She had a way of acting like the Rosario's version of the character, and kind of gave her a very youthful um, surprise. There was even a fight scene in there. She is doing really well at that too. So this young lady, Ariana Greenblatt, we'll hopefully see her in a lot more stuff. And I desperately hope that, she does not become victim of Holly Weird and actually has a very grounded sense, trajectory for her because, these very young, young ladies like this just want to see her thrive. She has talent. She has talent. For you to be like, let me go back. Oh yeah, to this one for her performance in Barbie. I mean, she was so annoying and so awful. And that was her character. That was what her character was supposed to be. And she did a fantastic job to playing Ahsoka and giving her imparting her with so much feeling and emotion at the same time, playing her a lot like Rosario, playing her a lot like the Clone Wars, and did a really great job. I think so. I think so. Um, and Brogu says, I hadn't seen the show yet, but they did at least speed up the dialogue, stop the long stares, and stop Ahsoka from crossing her arms. Um, she didn't. She did as a kid. As a kid, they show her crossing her arms, so that's her. That's a character trait that she has. Um, and so, is it the best character trait? I'm not, not my favorite, but she there was a little bit more. I felt like there was a little bit more playfulness about her character by the end. That I was like, okay, this is her. She's, this is part of her character. She's dealing with a lot of guilt and things like that she's done. We talked about this before, but again, we wanted to see it, and we actually got that back flashback that we needed. We needed the context, right? And I think for a lot of people who grew up with this show, with Clone Wars and Rebels. They are in tears. They love every minute of it. Now, I will admit, I did have a little, a little tear or two because Anakin was back, and I love the way they just slid him into this show. I really do like how they were able to put scenes that we had never seen of Anakin before that I felt should have been in the actual movies in this little segment. And the de-aging wasn't bad. And there were moments where it worked really well and it didn't work well, but I did enjoy it. I really did. Um, and William Blake Hall says, but what if Ahsoka ever met Jayla from Star Trek Beyond? The Battle of the the head makeup. Yeah, I did not see that one, Star Trek Beyond, but I know who you're talking about. Um, and yeah, she has a very interesting makeup. And so yeah, there's the there she is. She's crossing her arms. That's a character trait of of Ahsoka. And but trust me, young lady did a fantastic job at portraying the character and also imparting a little bit of something new into her role. Like everything that they were dealing with war, and Ahsoka coming to terms with making decisions in the middle of a war that sometimes people are going to die, like the realities of war. And that's something I think Star Wars itself has been missing, is you get this glossy stuff, the lightsaber battles, the ship battles, and all that stuff. We don't deal with like the burials and people having to go on without like their loved ones. We never deal with the actual war, and this does. This actually does kind of address that slightly, a little bit. It's a taste of it. And so she was, coming to terms with that and dealing with that. And Anakin had a lot to say. One of the things Anakin said, I have some notes over here that I'm going to refer to, is that he says you've got to keep fighting or die. If you don't fight, you're going to die. And it kind of shows his point of view of how he turned into Anakin, Darth Vader. And because it's really interesting, because as soon as he says that, he goes off into the distance, and it's actually really creatively done here. They show you flashes of him walking and Darth Vader in the same kind of um, gait, and I was like, ooh, nice work there. Definitely, there's a scene where he's telling her she's got to die. He has a different hairstyle. This is, I believe, right in the middle of the Clone Wars. And he's got a shorter hairstyle. Again, the de-aging looked pretty good in my opinion. There were a few moments, like I said, where things, angles and stuff that didn't quite work, that you could see Hayden's actual age peek through, and then other times where they may have smoothed out things a little bit too much. But it was much better than that first impression that we got of Hayden Christensen as Anakin. They figured out a nice medium in some of these scenes. So I really loved it a lot. I like Anakin, please. This is what I've always wanted to see. Anakin being charismatic and in action. I always loved Anakin. He was the best part for me, and I think the way Hayden Christensen is playing him in this particular scene or in these scenes are a lot different from the prequel movies. And I loved it. I loved it so very much. Loved it so much. So sorry, I did cry at this. I'm sorry, guys. I did have like a little cry. I was like, Anakin. So, especially, I'm sorry, I'm getting teary-eyed now, especially knowing what he is to become. That he is to become Darth Vader. And they do show you like beautiful, like I said, swipe-ins where they show you him like flashing uh, in and out of being Darth Vader. And kind of as a warning to Ahsoka, you could be going down this road too if you're not careful. Remember, she uses the the dark side of the Force when she in the last episode she uses the dark side of the Force to push Sinhati against the wall, and I think it is very, very telling now that she has to. Um, he's telling her like you have to fight in order to um, to survive, but maybe she doesn't need to always fight. Maybe there are other ways. Maybe there are other ways. So I think that was the lesson that was being taught, but we'll see, what we'll see what happens. We're not, we haven't seen the rest of the episode, but I think that was the warning. But I did love that moment there, and so it was really good. It was really good. Look, that's Anakin, guys. Come on, I'm freaking out. Sorry. It's everything I ever wanted from the Clone Wars. I wish this was the Clone Wars, that movie, because I couldn't stand that movie. I'm sorry, that movie really was nauseating and sickening to me. I was like, what is going on? Like, this is what we should have got. And I'm like, sort of a little upset, but also glad we even got a taste of it. It's just a small, little, tiny morsel of what we should have gotten, um, in my opinion. Aborglu says, I think everyone loves the playful side of Ahsoka. I know she's older now, and she has been through a lot, but if we could see her happy again, it would be wonderful. At the end of this, she is. It's really interesting. She does have a lighter tone to her and feels more uplifted. And not only that, she's wearing white. And people were saying, "Oh, Ahsoka the White." And so Tim Talks mentioned this last week on this stream, and so he knew right away they were going to do Ahsoka the Right. And Josh Herrera's here. Hello, Josh. How are you? Says this episode had me squealing in my couch. This felt like classic Star Wars, and I loved it so much. Hayden perfectly channeled Clone Wars Anakin, in my opinion. Oh my God. I am is in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. Oh yeah, I think so too, and I think he just did a great job here. I love this version of Anakin, definitely much more than I really thought I was going to. And look at the visual. They nailed him there. That's young Anakin. It's almost like seeing like an old friend. Movie madness and entertainment is here. Hello, Max. How are you? Says good morning, retro nerd girl. Do you collect these VHSs? I have some still. I have some that I. It's like a small collection of them, but I need a player. So I need to find a player and a way to get that player hooked up to maybe a laptop or something. I am so like technically challenged, but I want to do it. So I'm on the hunt. Thank you for asking. And Maddie's daddy is here. Says how are you? Says hey gorgeous. Haven't seen the show, so I'm going to drop a like and get back to work. Have a great stream. Thank you, Maddie's daddy. So good to see you. Yes, it is definitely a fun, one of the better shows. Um, uh, this episode is like one of the better episodes. You got to go through episode 1 to 4 to get here. Unfortunately, it's not the most exciting, but in my opinion, I really had like almost no complaints about this one. I like I really didn't have any problems trying to figure out. Oh yeah, so one other thing that's really important here is the relationship between master and apprentice, and kind of makes you feel like, okay, this is what we really wanted to see between Ahsoka and Sabine, like that training, and not just the training that she gives her, and I believe it was episode 3, but just more of like this kind of like this kind of training. Uh, and I did love the banter between the two of them, and just the how they played off of each other. I'm sorry, but Hayden Christensen is just like he nailed it. He nailed it. My gosh, he did. He really did a great job. Um, and I like I said, I want this Anakin. I want this Anakin. This makes it so much harder to realize that he changes into Darth Vader. Uh, there's a cameo by Captain Rex, a small um, uh, visual there. I think that was just, that was nerd cookies. That was something for us to snack on, or what do they call it? Eye candy, or you know, Easter eggs. It wasn't really important for the moment. He had nothing to teach. It was just, hey, there's Captain Rex, and so at some point, uh, Anakin pulls out the red saber and is in his red eye phase, is what I call it, I guess. And the two of them are battling, and this is the young Ahsoka, I believe, in this one. He like totally gives her a kick to the chest. I was like, oh, I was like, ooh. I mean, he gave her a Spartan kick in the chest. I was like, dang, you didn't have to go do the girl that dirty. Oh yes, and so this is the scene I was telling you about, where they flash in between Anakin and Vader, and their walk is identical. The gait is identical, and it's just so like poetic. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I could just watch that scene over and over and over again. I know. I know. I'm fangirling a little bit. Sorry. Yeah. So here's Hayden and his Vader scene, or pre Vader, but evil Anakin scene fighting Ahsoka. And you know, again, the it's not the greatest, face modeling, or I'm not sure what they did here, or whether they just had a little touch up on on Hayden's face. But it's not the worst either. It looks great. It looks great. I appreciated it. It looks good. And at some point, Ahsoka has the upper hand and is about to kill Anakin or end him. And this is equivalent to the cave scene in Empire Strikes Back, where Luke failed. He failed because he actually killed the apparition or whatever it was. He actually did the dark side thing, which is kill, right? It's also that decision that Anakin had to kill Count Dooku. So it pauses for a minute, and it's really like, okay, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna kill Anakin? And even there, you can see a little bit of red in her eyes, right? And so she doesn't do it, and it really is telling that she actually won that internal battle with herself to not kill the perceived evil, right? She did not kill that what she thought she would have to kill. She didn't have to kill him, and it turns out okay, and it turns out just fine. That was her that was her lesson. She, not killing, and it's when given the chance to have to kill. And is that a Jedi? Is that what a Jedi has to understand, or has to know when to kill and when not to kill? If they are warriors, they have to kill. But do they, are they always, do they kill with the dark side, or are they, what is it? That has to be kind of sussed out. Exactly, but we know that there's some sort of moral code there that's happening. You don't just kill somebody like this. So, uh, she passed the test, and so it was very interesting, the transition of her from this world to the real world. Slowly, water builds up around her, and then she's underwater, and basically she's in the sea where Balin, threw her off the cliff. And so I thought that was really creative. They did something creative. I liked it. I really did like that creativity. Visually, it's gorgeous. Everything about this whole thing is just like they nailed the visuals. It was. I know there's some people who could see the volume and it annoys them. I can't see the volume. It looks fine to me. It looked totally fine. The other piece to this is in the real world, Hera and her son Jason and a few good men, a few fighters are looking for them, and so that believe in the cause. A few good fighters that believe in the cause. And that includes Carson Teva. Jason is proving himself not to be an Easter egg. Remember way back, I believe it was episode 2. He's like, "Oh, I want to be a Jedi," and we're like, "Yeah, okay." We'll never see him again in the whole thing. He's actually very useful in this episode, finding Ahsoka. That he's using the Force. He says that he can hear lightsaber battling inside of the ocean. And maybe he's just hearing Ahsoka's thoughts, right? He's hearing her thoughts. They're traveling to him. And I'm not sure if Hera has the Force as well, because Hera closes her eyes and she can hear it too. So it's really interesting. I thought that was kind of a stretch, but And she may have the force too. We don't know. We don't. The force is in everybody and everything. Remember, so they're really taking advantage of that in the story writing here. And so I'm really glad that they were able to make Jason useful in this episode, and he wasn't an Easter egg after all. Um, and so it is trying to find Sabine. What happened to Sabine? Where is she? And so when Ahsoka comes back and they rescue her, uh, she is able to hear the entire conversation that went on while Sabine was touching that orb there. And so basically, she knows that Sabine went with them willingly, willingly, I may ask. And so, yeah, there's some this isn't a picture before her adventure here. This is from like episode 2 or 3. But she comes back. She's in all white. They decide that they need to go to the other galaxy, and Ahsoka starts talking to the Purgles. She finds a really big Purgle and talks to the Purgle, and they put the ship inside the Purgle's mouth, and then the Purgle goes, they jet off into the other galaxy. And they're not even sure if it's going to be the same galaxy, but they need to go somewhere. They want to keep want to do something. So they want to keep, they want to feel productive. So she yeah, that's pretty much the end. And it's really interesting. I really want to see what happens next week. I'm actually curious. I can't, if they can keep up the quality next week, that will be great. But I am very dubious about that. Okay. And El Necron says, "Oh, episodes 1 to 3 should have been episode 1." I think so. The condensed too. Condensed. I can agree more. And and Movie Madness Entertainment says, "I'm asking for Jar Jar and Ewoks. Bring them back." No way. And let's see. Keithy says, "Simply hit the like button when you're listening. While you're listening." Oh, thank you so much, Keithy, for mentioning that. And Wex Woother is here. Hi, Wex. It says, "Hi, Retro. Can't stay, but have a great day." Thank you so much. And Rogu says, "Ahsoka, so beautiful in white." Oh, doesn't she look really good in white? It's working for her, I think so. Yeah, so I hope they are able to keep up the good work, if you will. And this is her talking to the Purgles using the Force. And this is I picked this from online because I did like the episode, but I do hope that a lot of people aren't doing this thing right here, which is over worshiping Dave Filoni. Okay. And one of my biggest gripes about the prequels, and I think everybody knows this, even though there's a lot of great stuff in the prequels that you could actually cipher out, no one was really saying no to George Lucas. He was just doing whatever he wanted to do. And he really needed somebody to say, "Hey, look, that doesn't quite make sense. Or this, why don't we save this for this? Well, this character's really good. Why don't we save him for something else? Or why don't we, let him escape, but we'll use him for more stuff. He's really good." And then you have like, you need somebody to kind of come in and say, like, "Hey, your ideas are great, but they could use a little tweaking." And that's the only thing I would say about this whole thing. Like, I hope we don't have a whole bunch of people worshiping him to the point where he doesn't, it's all like his ideas from now on, and he accepts no help. Like, I think he should definitely he has a way of doing things, but it's a lot slower. It's a lot slower pace than what you would normally do. And I think he needs like somebody there to just kind of tweak things just a little for him, or help him with that. Uh, Also, not to, again, blow smoke, in his direction or anything, but I will just say this, I liked this episode, and it was directed by him. He did direct this. And so I much, a big thumbs up from me, like, wow, this is making me a little bit more confident about the movie that he is to be doing in the future. Again, I just hope that he does seek advisors to help him along the way. Um, and there's Carson Teva. Unfortunately, I this is one of my only complaints about the the show was this is a great character, but in this series or in this particular episode, he's just going, yes, ma'am, yes, yes, and not only is he just a yes man, he's fighting the process all the whole way. I really wanted to see more chutzpah from him, more gusto, more courage, as he's been showing in a lot of other things that he's been in. Plus, more, he's volunteering to do this. He's not there um, because it's his job. He's doing there because he wants to be there. So I really wish there was a little bit more written for him to do that was more courageous, and I wanted him to have more agency than they allowed him to have in this episode. So that was my only thing. And I protect Carson Tava at all costs. That is a good man, and I think he's a wonderful addition to the show. Now, some people have been noticing that almost every episode where this character Hera has been in, they've been noted to show her from the back and walking somewhere. So I don't know, gain from that whatever you will. Now, the other thing, of course, we didn't get anything more and new about these two characters. And I understand why they were not used in this episode, but they were sorely missed. And I do adore these two. I really want to see some more juicy contents about their background in the next couple of episodes, please, please, please. And especially Balin Skull, he's just so fascinating. I want to know all about him and his backstory, his flashbacks. I want to see them all. And again, all of this, maybe we'll finally get to see the great Admiral Thrawn and Grand Admiral Thrawn, and hopefully this will come about. Oh, look, Hungry Jerk is here. Hello, Hungry Jerk. How are you? And yeah, and this lady, I just have a feeling that I really hope that there's more to her story too. Just missing anything of any kind of juice in her presence, started out with really liking her character, and now it's like she's being forgotten, and I hope the next episode will prove that she is important in some way besides getting everybody to the other side of the galaxy. So I really want to see more story behind this lady. And like I said, it really it made sense why Jason was there. And I think at some point I guess she was contemplating going, or there was a question of her going with Ahsoka. And she's like, no, she has to stay there and take care of Jason, because in this other galaxy they don't know what they might find. And so with the hope that one day Ahsoka may return, and they will return with Ezra. So hopefully we'll cross our fingers that may happen. And so I was hoping that Zeb was going to be there, and we all were hoping that Zeb was going to make an appearance, but no, he's not there, and we don't have anything. If everything is going to be in this other galaxy, he's out of the picture. So no Zeb for this season, which is, I know a lot of fans were looking forward to him being there. Um, and this is me comparing the two Anakins, like, and I think they cleaned up. They did a much better job this time. And Chapo was there. He was very useful. Great to see him, but still no Lothcat, man. Like, my goodness, when are they going to put the the Lothcat back in the series? I love this little guy. Um, so these are my scores so far. I really gave it high scores this week. Um, episode 1, 5.5. Really disliked that episode so very much. Episode 2, better, 6.5. Episode 3, 7.5. Growing, it's growing on me. Episode 4, 8.5. And this episode, I gave it a 9.8. It was really good. I really did enjoy it. And it got more heady. It got more like spiritual. Let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. It did play on nostalgia quite a bit. And I think it did it in the best way. It did it in the best way possible. Um, and if you really look at it, Ahsoka is really the opposite of Darth Vader. Like, she's doing everything that Luke, failed to do, properly. Like, she, she's beating all of, not Luke, but Anakin. She's doing everything that that we all like, all of the Jedi was hoping to do. So maybe she could even be the one to bring balance. We're not sure. They never did settle that score about the person who could bring balance. They never did settle that. And so it's like a storyline that was just sort of like, okay, dropped. So maybe she's the one who could bring balance. I thought that was really good. I also like Hu Yang in this episode. He was very, very. He still has like a little bit of funny comedy going on with him, and uh, just some of the things that he says is just so good. Um, and there was one scene where Carson Teva is like, "Okay, tell me, okay, what's going on?" What he's saying what everybody else in the audience is saying, like, "What's going on here? What's happening? I'm not getting this." And so Hu Yang comes in and tells him, "Yeah, Jason has abilities, and he knows uh, that Ahsoka's out there." So it's like, oh, okay, then now we get some explanation. And I think this kind of, I know it's like one line or two lines. This kind of stuff have been inserted in the first 4 episodes for more context for a lot of this stuff. A lot of people from Rebels and from those other shows, they know about it, but there's some people who need a little refresher or have never seen those shows, and they need something to hold on to or something to explain that. And as a complete product, a completely separate product, it doesn't work on its own. Uh, it needs Rebels. It needs uh, the Clone Wars animated series in order to like fully know what's going on, and that's not right. It's not fair, and it's not right. I think this should have been more like, hey, we're going to catch the rest of the world up with Ahsoka because she's a cool character, and let's do a little backstory, which they did this time, this episode. They did a little backstory. They gave it to us, but they also gave it to us in the form of a lesson, and that was fantastic. I loved it, guys. I did. I really did. Um, um, and it's probably the only episode I really would recommend. All the other episodes are just tough to get through. Not my favorite, but yeah, this one is definitely. If you were gonna watch episode 3 and I'm sorry, if you're gonna watch episode 4 and 5, I think you would be entertained. I think you'll be entertained. Now, guys, the box office. We typically look at the box office. Let me see if I can get a good handle on this. The Nun 2, I mean, wow, it's at number one right now. So there's a lot of horror fans out there that are watching The Nun. And the next movie up is Equalizer 3, and it's holding on to its spot. I'm just gonna have a little libation there. Um, let's see. We've got My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, which I'm totally surprised that it's doing so well. But yeah, people are going out to see that romantic comedy. Now, this is another surprise for me. Jawan, which is an Indian film, that's number 4 on the list, and people are saying this movie is so good. I can't wait to finally see it. I don't have access to see it in the theater, but once it becomes available, um, I will definitely check it out. It looks really good. Um, and we've got Barbie. Barbie is still holding on, number 5. And Blue Beetle is shockingly still doing, still hanging into the number 6 spot, which is wonderful for Blue Beetle. It's not a total disaster. So that's good. And then Gran Turismo. People love this movie. I'm surprised it's not higher on the list. To be very honest with you, I'm pretty surprised, but a lot of people love this story. Oppenheimer is still holding on to the top 10 at the number 8 spot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles still hanging in there as well at number 9. And a movie which I don't know anything about, doesn't look very interesting to me, but I'm sure it must be interesting to a lot of people because it's still on the top 10 as number 10 on the list. And just under 10, we've got Meg 2, The Trench, Talk to Me, Strays, and Haunted Mansion. And the next thing that I'm going to talk about, this is really going by quick. So, guys, remember way back, I reviewed a movie called Crater that was on Disney Plus. It's not on Disney Plus anymore. Yeah. The film was released on Disney Plus on May 12th, 2023. I'm laughing because I can't believe they did this, and was removed from the service on June 30th, 2023. So I was lucky to see it. I mean, it was that's not May, and right, like the next month, by the next month, it was already removed. 48 days is how long it stayed. That's ridiculous, guys. So ridiculous. I don't understand. You can't find it anywhere. It's gone. Has been pulled. And I thought it was a good movie. It is just super surprising to me that movie is gone. I've got a little write up here that I got from Google, and they didn't say where they sourced it from. While no official reason has been given as to why Crater was removed from Disney Plus, it's believed to be money related, much like Warner Brothers Discovery. Disney Plus might be looking to cut their losses by streaming a film on their service. Disney still has to pay licensing fees for it. So yeah, it might be a money thing, guys. So this is so weird to me. Like it was right on. Like I missed it. Like I just caught it like right before it was going to be removed. This is really terrible. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over at Disney Plus, but this is really wild to me. I am surprised not many people are talking about this because it's shocking that they would go through the trouble of making a movie, promoting it, and then remove it like just like less like a month later. Like I've never heard anything so sick before. This is crazy. Let's see, Korgoth Killing says, but that's what I fear about Disney, their ability to remove things without record of its existence, and then nobody gets to watch it again. Yeah, this is really horrible for these actors. And it was I told you, this was a decent little film um, that was actually, didn't have any kind of like weird stuff in it. It was just about kids. And uh, I'm surprised. Just surprised. Yeah. So good to see you, Colgrath. And yeah, I'm shocked. Anyway, that's that's where we end today's show. I know this is a quick one. There isn't a lot news wise today, so um this was a quickie episode for me. I wish there was more stuff to talk about. And Rogo says, I told you about how everyone needs to get physical media for their favorite movies and shows, but what do I know? No, it's absolutely true. That's why I've been trying to build up my physical media, because it is really um that's shocking. And the thing about it being on um, physical media is that, especially that movie is a Disney Plus thing. So where do you go for it? It's like it was never physical. So it's like a lot of these shows that people are making, a lot of these they're just gonna die. Like, what is happening, guys? I don't know. I don't. This is really blowing my mind right now. And he says Olivia Newton-John said, "Let's get physical." She did. It was a great song. And yeah, so yeah, get your physical media for everything you like. Don't depend on these services to provide them for you. And even these shows, like who's to say they might remove Ahsoka? But if they get mad and they want to remove everything. And Burglar says, sad to say, but some movies and shows will just die if the creators like Disney don't support the physical media. Yeah, and I think Disney is realizing that physical media is a viable uh, form of income, and a lot of people are finding that too. It's something that they've moved away from, because they've been focusing so much on streaming, and they really need to get that on some sort of physical platform. They may be like in talks to have it on possibly some other streaming network. You never know. Maybe Amazon, because they've been selling, a lot of these places have been selling their shows to other people. Like HBO's have been selling a lot of their shows to Amazon and Netflix. So it's really weird. But it's just kind of like, I just watched that movie and it's gone. It's like, wow. And Korgat says, I keep all my DVDs. Yes. And yep, I'm actually building mine up. And Keith, he says, I digitally save things to a playlist and they take them out of there too. Yeah, they do. Yeah. And Disney has reported that they will no longer uh, send physical media to Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, that's true. They're not so any not that they're not going to be available. It's just that they're not sending it to those countries, and I don't know why. So you'll have to kind of, if you live in those spots, you have to go somewhere to get them and have them delivered, like England or somewhere else. And Rolu says, it's just a matter of time when they will stop supporting physical media altogether. Yeah, but I think it's up to us to make sure, I think at the end of the day, like, people putting their money where their mouth is. Like, hey, I have this problem with, these streaming platforms and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, are you buying DVDs? Are you like investing in them? Are you building up a library? Because what's the use in them having physical media if people aren't going to buy them? But I'll tell you one thing, there, which was it? Uh, Justice League. When that was available, I bought the heck out of that thing. I've got it in so many different formats, it's ridiculous. And because I just love that movie, so that's what I did. Um, but I think also too, are there like a lot of the older movies? Yes, right? We'll buy a lot of those older movies, but a lot of the newer movies aren't as iconic as some of those older movies used to be. So that's another thing. The content, Hollywood's content is just suffering so badly. So, of course, when Barbie comes out, I want a physical version of that. When Oppenheimer comes out, I want a physical version of that. Um, so definitely going to be trying to build up my physical media because digital is definitely not the way to go. It's definitely you don't know what they're going to do. And if they decide that they like you bought something and they want to decide, hey, well, we don't have the licensing for it anymore, and we can't let you keep it. Uh, you're out of luck. You spent $20 on something that that's not yours anymore. So yeah, that's how it is right now. And William Blake Hall says a lot of movies should be rated B for you. You'll see this because you're bored. Yeah, yeah, pretty much, pretty much. And Rogu says they are sending the rights to certain companies to make DVDs of movies. They themselves are stopping making the movies themselves. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of them are just going into a vault, or they're sending it to like other platforms that will use the product, and so then you have to go by their rules, whatever that streaming platform is. You have to go by their rules, and you got to sign up for their program. And just because you like a movie or a TV show, so yep, physical media, guys. That's what we're doing now, I guess. And now Brogan says if those companies stop asking for the rights, then it's all over. Yeah, it is. It is. Well, guys, I am going to um uh yeah, I am going to sign up for today. And also, I forgot, you know what? Did I ever thank Unicorn? I forgot to thank Unicorn with a video today. So Unicorn, if you're still there, I'm going to thank you with a video. I'm so sorry. I forgot I'm so weird today. Today is a weird day. Here we go. Sorry about that. All right, guys. Well, it is let's see. Yes, and Keith E says, "Can you play the moderator video? I love the Yahoo at the end." Oh yes, yes, I will. Oh great. Oh sweet. Okay, I get to play a video. Okay. And Unicorn says it's okay. It's okay. We ranted for 30 minutes before getting started. Thank you, Orangey. Oh man. All right. I'm going to play the moderator video for Keith E. And let's see if I can find it. I'm so glad you like that video. I do too. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Woo! Oh man, that's good. Yes. Let's see. And William Blake calls us. I'm gonna be like 12. I remember Saturday is Soylent Green Day. Yes, not Sunday, not even Tuesday, but Saturday. Yes, thank you so much. I made such a big boo boo, but it was it. I'm so glad you guys are forgiven, so forgiving, and Unicorn says, "Yay, us! Yes, you guys are fantastic. Just love you guys. You guys are so amazing, and just the whole crew of you guys who are always here. Um, I'm gonna get teary eyed, but just really appreciate you so much." Also, if you haven't seen your name and my scroll through where I say, "Oh, I thank these supporters," I'm actually making a new one soon, so there'll be some additional names of people who have consistently been in chat and really has been helping the channel to grow. And guys, I see you guys talk about um, my channel on other streams and stuff, so I really appreciate all that extra help that you guys have been giving me. So thank you so much. And you're so sweet. Thanks. No, thank you. Aw, thanks. Yeah, with that, I am going to end the stream, and you guys can leave your last messages for any friends you have in the chat, any friends you made today, and any last comments for me. The next stream, of course, is on Friday, and let's see what's the topic. I almost forgot the topic. Let's see the topic for Friday. Let's see. Topic for Friday: best family animated movies. Ooh. I didn't say just all of them, just the best ones, just the best ones. Yeah, that's gonna be fun because I get to talk about one of my favorite movies, and that is Hercules. I love that movie so much. So yeah, so without further ado, guys, I bid you adieu, and I will see you in the next video.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.